you caught us. We were doing a selfie. we were doing a with a selfie with three guys. Be called a trielfie.
It's a trophy.
A trophy, yeah.
Trophy.
What is the upset? You know, I have to admit, I've taken selfies, but it's not because I'm so enamored with myself. It's just it's to quit. I won't have to bother anybody else.
That's what it is. Yeah, just it's like, why do you want to stop somebody from what they're doing to take a little picture? You just stick your arm all the way out, take the picture.
But now
I do it.
I've seen people because you're vain. Well, Keith, there's always one in the crowd, but you know, I mean, it has gone a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen some people that I believe they get up, they do like a whole photo shoot with themselves. I mean, they do the makeup, they do the pouting lips.
How about the Facebook picture of the selfie that's always in the freaking same angle,
same
position, same. Right?
Because this is my good side. The other side look like Quasimodo, so I'm gonna just keep this side going.
I'm at lunch the other day, and they've got some outside seating, and there's a girl out there. She's waiting on them to bring her lunch. She's sitting by herself, and she's sitting there taking selfies. So I'm sitting there watching her, and I'm like, these expressions, it's all these plastic smiles, you know. Yeah, I posted that.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think. See, I want to do something where I just start taking random pictures of people and just calling them someone else's.
Someone else.
Yeah, just doing something like. Well, you guys probably can't see me because I'm in camo today.
Yeah,
and I did this for a reason.
You going hunting after this?
I'm going possum hunting after this. I actually wanted to give a shout out to my son today. My son Ryan is he's a big aspiring hunter and fisherman. He's a great fisherman. He wants to hunt. He's going to Mississippi for a week for spring break, and he's going to do a lot of fishing with his grandpa. And I'm excited he's going to be able to go. But in where we live, and you guys, we live around a lot of commercial, a lot of residents, retail and stuff. So he's not able to hunt.
Yeah.
And he's hating it. I mean, we watch a lot of hunting shows and fishing shows, but there's a place behind the house where he went.
Yeah.
And he took his pellet gun. And Ryan hasn't, he shot one squirrel at his grandparents' house in Mississippi. But in our house, not in our house, but behind our house, he has killed a chipmunk and a possum. He's what you would call him an exotic hunter. He doesn't do like deer and turkey and squirrel and pig or hog or whatever. He shoots chipmunks. He shot a chipmunk, brought him home in a little Walmart bag, and he was so excited. You thought he had shot an elk somewhere out in Alaska, on a moose hunt or something. But he brought back that little chipmunk. And he opened the bag. I looked and I was like, "Oh my God, you killed somebody's little family pet. He's a little cute little guy, man, little Alvin." In my mind, I'm thinking of Alvin the chipmunk. And so he was online actually trying to see if he could cook him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm like, I don't think you'd get any meat, maybe for a piece of jerky out of a chipmunk. But
well, I'm sure he could cook him.
That's no
doubt he could cook him.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, if you live in certain states, I won't name names, but if you live in certain states, anything that moves, you eat. Man, it's gonna wind up on your table. So, but yeah, I'm thinking about him today. Because he's a big camo guy, and he's got camo everything, man. And so he gave me this camo fleece here, and regardless if it's 65, 70 degrees outside, I thought, well, I'm gonna wear this today. And buddy, I hope you get some good hunting in. We're going to be moving in the fall, so hopefully wherever we move, we'll have some land where he can actually go out and maybe shoot a turkey or something, not in the vermin range like chipmunk or possum. He killed a possum too.
Did?
Wow.
Yeah. So
anyway, if he gets tired of all that exotic stuff, he can come over to my house. He can hunt spiders and ants.
Spiders and ants. Yeah, that'd be a challenge. He's wanting for his birthday. He's turning 16 next month.
Wow.
And he is wanting a crossbow. So he's looking at we're looking at some crossbows.
Wouldn't it be better if they were just straight instead of crossbow?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Was that for a cross-eyed person? A bow that you're kind of like your crossbow.
Speaking of Ryan, now, how many kids, 15 years old, would volunteer like he does?
Yeah.
At what does he do for?
At PetSmart, he goes up there. He's there right now. Actually, he volunteers for 2 different animal rescues, and he's been doing this since he was just a little guy.
As long as I can remember.
He loves it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he does that.
That's cool.
And he's done pet sitting. When he was probably 9 years old, I'm thinking I'm about right in there. he had his own dog walking service, and he's been doing that. And I've got a daughter, Zoe, that's coming right along behind him, and she's making these crazy looms. You guys seen those little bands, crazy looms, rainbow looms? And so she's putting some together because they're going to their grandparents. They're wanting to have a garage sale.
All right.
So she's making a bunch of these. She's going to sell them for 25 cents a piece, and we're going to plug them into that number that she showed us last week, man, about how to do some great savings. We got great kids. She's a dancer. I didn't mean to monopolize the opening about my kids. I'm just a proud papa.
Yeah. Put the pictures away.
I know. I just one of those. Well, what's going on with you guys this week, man?
Well, I may actually head down. This is spring break for us, so I may head down to, talking about heading down to the cabin. We actually have a cabin down in East
Is that code
Tennessee.
for something, to the cabin?
It's a real cabin. It's a 2-bedroom,
Sounds like a horror
2-bath
story.
cabin, right
Crystal
close
Lake.
in the
Jason?
Smoky Mountains.
Oh, I love that area. Yeah.
Ours is actually only about 1.5 miles from the main strip there in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
There's something Ryan can hunt, pigeon.
yeah, there you go.
I've actually been to your cabin.
You
Wayne.
have.
It's an awesome
Yes.
spot, man.
It's a fun little place. It's been a while since I've been down there, so me and Grayson may ride down there and play a little golf, do a little go-kart riding. Should be fun.
He lives a tough life, folks. Don't
It
you
is
envy?
tough.
Don't you feel
It's
sorry
tough.
for y'all? Send prayers Wayne's way.
Yeah, he needs.
That's cool. How about you, Mr. Rivas?
Me? Well, I'm just hanging. I'm
Just
just trying
hanging.
to be alive.
You still doing that speed dating thing?
Yeah, I'm trying to. If I can just dial.
Keith works 24/7, and then he dates in his off time.
He dates in his off time. Yeah. Yeah.
24/7.
It's speed dating, all right. Yeah. They're all speeding right after Keith, and he won't stop long enough to talk to him. Keith's sort of a ladies' man. We kind of
Oh, Lord.
figured that out.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. Oh, that's the other Keith I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
I'm
it's the
sorry.
other. You're talking about my twin brother, Urban.
Urban. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
Urban.
see Keith Urban.
Yeah.
Keith Urban.
What segments are we doing this time?
You know what? I think the ones last week were so much fun. I think we're going to kind of
Still again? Do an extension of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. A quick update
Yep.
since the last time that we recorded. I haven't heard anything different on the Malaysia plane.
Nope. Now,
So
Not at all.
now it could have been found as we were doing this show, but as of right now,
As of right
I
now.
haven't seen anything.
yeah.
nothing.
So stay tuned. You don't need to
Interesting.
hear Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, or Reuters news
none of that
service. Listen,
stuff.
the blend will be on top
Yeah,
of it.
just hang
That's
with
right.
us.
Yeah, so- and you know what? The segment that you did last week was great. You have some more, just keep us on the edge of our seat, money tips.
Let's do that. Let's do a little more dollars and cents. And last week we talked about compounded interest and how you can start out with a little bit of money, add a little bit more to it, and watch that thing grow if you invest it wisely. And we started last week talking about $1,500, adding $250 a month, and watching that thing grow over a 25-year period. And it grew up to, it was just under $400,000,
Yeah.
I think 390-something thousand. And what I wanted to do today is just embellish that a little bit. And let's say that you're thinking in terms of just retirement, but you're willing to start early enough to get it going. And let's take that 25-year segment up to 35 years. We're going to change nothing else. We're starting with the same $1,500. We're going to base it on a 10% gain.
What age starting? you'd say?
It could be any age, but last week we said it's say 23 years old, because
Okay.
and that thinking was, someone straight out of college, they've
Right,
gotten their
right,
first job, so they've got some income coming to where that they can actually put some money aside. So maybe they've saved $1,500 and they're willing to put $250 a month of their income into an account.
Yeah. And that's very doable, man. It just takes discipline.
It is, it's just a matter of just deciding that you're not going to live paycheck to paycheck,
Right.
and you're going to invest in your future. And like our buddy Dave Ramsey says, you're going to, what does he say? He says,
He says a lot of stuff, man. Dave's right here in Nashville.
he says you're going to
area.
live like no one else so that you can live like no one else.
There you go.
And so
wow.
while we're speaking of Dave, that's a good place to start if you're thinking about investing, really know where to start, how to set a budget, those kind of things. Go to daveramsey.com, and that's DaveRamsey.com. Get started there. He'll get you on the right path for at least setting a budget, getting out of debt, which you need to do to start with first, and then start putting money away for the future. But getting back to our to what we were talking about last week, let's take that the 25-year scenario of investing, and took us up to just under $400,000. We're going to take it to 35 years. So let's say that you're 23 years old when you started. You invested for 35 years. That would take you to what,
58.
58 years old.
Like see what I did there? I added that.
You know,
last week, you know, I just my lack of math skills manifested.
That math tutoring I've been giving you is working out pretty good. I like that.
Numbers.com.
So let's say that you were going to say, okay, I'm going to retire at 58 years old. I'm going to start investing at 23. I'm putting this $250 a month away just for that. You're putting it in the right places. You're investing in mutual funds and ETFs.
Is that what you recommend?
I do recommend those.
No,
I recommend being.
anything.
No, yeah, that's right. We don't recommend anything. But,
not as a financial advisor, but just as a friend.
But as a friend, yeah. But if you, you know, I say be diversified.
Okay.
And just do your homework. I'd go to Ameritrade.com.
Baptist.
No, I'm Pentecostal.
Go to TD Ameritrade, Schwab.com. Those are some great sites to get some great information on how to get started. Just go in there and
You're not
dance
getting
around a little
any paid
bit.
or any endorsement. Or
We're not
anything
getting
from
any
these guys.
endorsement. We're just doing this to help folks get started, get on the right path. Okay, back to 35 years. The 10-year difference between investing for 25 years or 35 years. So if you started when you were 23 and you decided you were going to start pulling from that income at age 58, you're nearing retirement, you decide you want to start pulling from that, your nest egg has grown in 35 years to $1,006,027.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Now,
a couple bucks.
that's a couple of bucks. Now, of that $1 million, what you put in, just by putting in $250 a week,
Right.
totaled up to $106,500. So that additional
About 10% of that.
$899,000
Was interest?
was what your money earned for you.
Wow.
That's what some people want to work for their money. Some people want to let their money work for them.
Yeah.
You know, you need to do a little bit of both, and that's why you need to get started as young as you can, putting a little bit aside, let your money work for you. Go to thecalculatorsite.com and play with this a little bit. Just see what you can do based on your current budget of putting a little bit of money aside, and then throw it out over 10, 15, 25, 35 years and just see what happens with the power of compounded interest. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. A little discipline, a little, you know, it's not really,
It's not rocket science.
it's not rocket science,
It's,
man.
you know, Joe the plumber
Yeah.
can make this happen, can be a millionaire in 35 years with $250 a month.
Sometimes
if
it's
he
the
does it right.
simple things that are the hardest to do, though, because we try to, you know, our culture is so I want it now. I don't want to. Why should I save it when there's something I want right now? And that's
Well, it's, you know, $250 is in everybody's grasp pretty much that has a job. Anybody can think in terms of, but they can't think in terms of $1 million.
Right.
It's that 35-year span in between, but it's just a matter of consistency. It's every month.
Yeah.
You know, I would suggest having automatically deducted from your account, going
you don't
straight
even-
straight
Yeah.
into.
See it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't even see it. Goes into your investment account. It's automatically diversified within your account. And that way you get used to budgeting on what's outside of that, you know,
Yeah.
what actually comes into your account. Let it go to your account immediately. You forget about it, and what you'll do is wake up one day and you'll be a millionaire.
me. Wake up one day and there, lo and behold. And Wayne, he speaks from experience. I'm not a millionaire, but you've been in business for yourself since what age? When did you start going to business for yourself?
Well, actually, the first thing that I did was in 7th grade. I started selling candy in junior high.
Man, that's
But the first real business that I started, I was 25 years old, and I started a little sign shop, and ended up selling that about 3 years later. And then a couple years after that, I started my second business, and that's what I still own today. So it's been, actually, this is our 20th anniversary coming up in 2 months.
congratulations. Wow. I'm surrounded by brilliance here. I mean, you know, I've got two brains on either side of me, so I'm like cousin Ned. We just drag him along for the fun and laughs. Just for poops and giggles, we'll bring Daron along. That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that with us, Wayne. I feel like it's something that most people can, this is bite-sized, they can take and continue biting for 25 years and see what happens.
Relate
man.
to it.
Force yourself to go to some of those sites and just play with those a little bit with some numbers and see how it can help you out.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we're going to take a break real quick. We're going to go. Keith's got to go return a couple of texts from a lady named Marrell. And we'll be back in just a little bit.
I thought
Come
he
back and see us.
was going to Blockbuster and
I'm gonna
record
send her a
return a couple of
selfie.
tapes, a couple
Yeah,
of
that
videos.
too. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
And we're back.
Wow.
We are back in the blender. So anyway, man, we are excited about the upcoming stuff that we've got happening here on the blend. We're going to bring some guests in very soon.
That's right.
And we may drop a little teaser every now and then out and let you know who we've talked to and they've agreed, or either whether we've just coerced them into coming on the show.
Force
getting
some people.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with nothing wrong with a little friendly, forceful persuasion. So anyway, started a segment last week called Family Jewels, and just talked about a little bit about it. I really didn't go into detail last week. I just mentioned my grandfather Mahan. I mean, he'll be resurfacing because I'm telling you, man, I got a family that is more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Few of them even look like monkeys, but
Most
anyway.
of your family had a little Southern dialect, didn't they?
Had a little
Little
Southern
bit.
dialect. Yeah, I've got
Southern lisp.
Southern lisp. Yeah, they saying bless his heart. That's
Yeah.
that's code for I'm gonna slap you upside
Yeah.
the head. Bless his heart for
Now, was
Southern people.
Fester Coots, was he a cousin of yours? Wasn't he in the
I
family?
have no idea
somehow?
who Fester is, man. That sucker was. I'm pretty sure he came from either Louisiana or West Virginia. I'm not for sure.
Okay.
But anyway,
All
but I'm gonna. There's a part of my family, my mom's side of the family. They're Hodges,
old
Hodge. Yeah, I'm not exactly where the roots are on that side of the family. I know there's several in South Mississippi. There's some in Louisiana, I believe. But I'm not as up on my family tree past my branch as I should be, probably.
Hey, that rhymed.
That right did, yeah. See? But that's just the creativity and the rhyming just happens to show itself spontaneously. But I have got a grandma and a grandpa Hodge. His name is Harless.
Harless.
Harles. My grandmother's name is Mary Alice, or if you're from Mississippi, Morales.
So it's Morales and Harless.
Morales and Harless. Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, they're. It's all in Mississippi. It's about using the longest words and saying them the shortest that you can.
There you go.
Like when you're in Mississippi, instead of asking someone, "Did you eat yet?" you just walk up to them and say, "Jeet."
Jeet, yeah.
Jeet.
Jeet, yeah,
Jeet.
yeah, Jeet. So
Jeet?
it's all about, they're efficient
That's
wordsmiths is what it is. But my grandma and grandpa are incredible. They're some of the most unselfish people in the world. My grandpa and my grandma, and their health is not really optimal right now. My granddad, I will say about him, he has never met a disease he wouldn't sign up for. I mean, you're around him long enough, and he's one of those guys, just like, Papa, we call him Papa, and that's why I said Papa. But I'm telling you, Papa, I've got
convenient.
something. Yeah, see how that works?
Yeah.
Said my finger is like, man, I don't know what's wrong with it. It's just, and he'll sit there and listen to you for a minute. And he's like, well, Daron, the other day it might, but his is always worse than mine. So I can't come in with an ailment of any sort without him trumping me. But my grandpa Hodge Harless, he didn't get past the 3rd grade in his education. But they have. I've been encouraged to write a book with nothing but words that they say, because my granddad will get a word going in the right direction, and then he'll fill in the hole.
But it won't quite get there,
It won't quite make it. Yeah, and it won't quite. You took one exit too soon. That last consonant's on down the road a little bit. But my grandma's the same way. So I thought what I would do with Family Jewels today is tell you guys a little, just give you guys an example of the Family Jewels vocabulary words that my grandma and grandpa
this'll be
said.
good.
Okay. All right. First word, my granddad. The word we say frustrated.
Yeah.
Frustrated.
Frustrated.
Yeah, basic word. My granddad doesn't call it that. He says flusticated.
Flusticated.
So according to Harless Hodge, the word is, I get very flusticated with some people in this town. Yeah, and my granddad worked for the city of Jackson for years. Another word, the cereal Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
You guys
Yep.
are eating Fruity Pebbles, the
Yeah.
Flintstones
Yeah.
and all. Walked in the house one day and my granddad was there by himself. It's like, well, if y'all hungry, we got, there's some cereal in there. Get you a bowl of fruit peedles. Fruit peedles. Yeah. Fruit peedles.
Fruit peedles.
Yeah, so he got the F right, even
Yeah.
the fruit part, but it just he
rest
fell
of it just didn't
off the
get
sonar there. Pebbles, peedles. My cousin, I have a cousin who, when she was little, she played soccer, was pretty good athlete, and she got a trophy.
Yeah.
My grandmother was telling me when I came to her house, Daron, Ashley, she played down there. She won a troplet. I said, oh, she won a trophy. Yeah, I got a troplet. Doing what? Playing kick soccer. Kick soccer. Not soccer, it's soccer. Yes, kick soccer. When my wife and I first got married, early on in our marriage, we were living in kind of northeast Jackson, Mississippi, in some apartments. And there was a predator that had gotten loose, a person, and it was all over the news and everything. He was a rapist. And so I was on the road working, and my grandmother called my wife. Tina, have y'all been checking the news? You need to stay in the house. There's a rapist loose. And my wife's on the phone. She's like, what, Mama? Rabies? Somebody's got rabies? No, or that rabies is loose. He's out there. He broke loose. He's out running around in the neighborhood. Or rabies. Then my Tina realized, oh, she's talking about a rapist, not some dude foaming at the mouth who got rabies. So there's that. Also, if you wanted a bowl of fruit petals at my grandparents' house, you'd always go in there too, pour your cereal, and in the kitchen, in the fridge, you open and you get you the gallon of milk.
Milk?
Pour you some milk out in the cereal. Yeah, milk. Fruit petals and milk. That's what they have. And then when you're through eating cereal, you got to put everything, take it in the kitchen and set it down in the zinc.
Zinc.
Yeah. Now zinc is a word, but Papa kind of got his wires tattled around a little bit, so it's put it in the zinc. Because we got to get the fruit petals out of the way, because for dinner we're having tarcos. Beef tarcos or chicken, obviously.
Chicken tarcos.
And also, Mama and Papa, when technology comes, they usually catch it on the tail end.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when they got the caller ID, when you came out.
Yeah.
Remember the little separate box?
Yep.
Used to sit next to your landline phone?
Yeah, I remember that.
Y'all remember landline phones?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, my grandma, she loved it when that technology came out, because when we were at her house, somebody would call. She said, "Oh, you don't have to answer it, Daron. Just look at the caller IV."
IV.
Oh, so the box is hooked up to your arm the moment you just have some sort of pulsating sensation that someone's calling. I know who it is. So there's a caller IV. So yeah, that's my life growing up in my grandparents. When I go see them.
This segment could also have been under the heading "Lost in Translation."
Lost in translation. Dude, it's way lost. I've given up on that, but I have a great family, and I've got some just incredible stories, and I may do a book. I have one character you guys are going to hear about in weeks to come. His name was Uncle Ray.
Uncle Ray.
Uncle Ray he's an ecosystem to himself. He's just a creature that's legendary. But and he's passed now, but he's got some great stories coming. So that's my family jewels. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Y'all write us and tell us some funny stories about your family, and we'll share them on the air and embarrass the heck out of you too. So we'll be back after this match. We got another great segment coming.
Yep, be
Mr.
right back.
Rivas, see ya.
That's the way it all played out. It was
I never had
unbelievable.
understood that. Well,
I was caused.
yeah, I as soon as it's blushing.
That was.
Welcome back to the blend. We're just kind of sitting here hanging out, trying some moonshine that Keith had blended up in the sink. Keith, in the zinc, yeah. We just got through some pretty fruit petals.
He's sneaky putting it in that Kirkland bottle, though.
That is. I thought Kirkland sold housewares and stuff. Like that. So, well, it's time for a segment that we like to call Techie Talk with Keith Rivas.
Boring.
Yes, Techie Talk, and then he's also gonna probably enlighten us on some news items that you may have missed on CNN
the
or
important
MSNBC.
stuff.
Yeah, the real substantive issues that strike at the heart of America. So, Keith, what you got for us today, man?
Well, let's see. So today we're going to talk. There's a really cool. Tell people to stop calling us while we're on the show. Will you do
Papa
that?
Hodge, I always text me, please pick up fruit petals on the way home today. I'm not in Mississippi, Papa.
We don't have the staff yet to answer the phone,
I
so we
know,
just have to
yeah.
do it ourselves. They're calling in by the tens now.
Hey.
So
Gretel's at bingo. She's not in the receptionist office anymore.
Hey, wait a minute. What's that picture?
That picture?
Man,
Yeah.
we can't put that up there.
I know. So,
Hey, no, but yeah, there's a program that I think is going to be helpful to a lot of people.
this is not an app.
No, this is not
Okay.
an app. This is for that old thing called a computer. This goes for your actual desktop or your laptop, and it's a program that I use a lot. It's called Malwarebyte.
Yep.
And you
Say
can
it
actually
again.
Malwarebyte.
we probably should spell it for
And
them.
I'll spell it out.
Yeah.
And of course we'll put a little
Yeah.
graphic up here. But
He dated a girl named Malware, didn't he?
yeah, and
Malware bites.
I think she did it.
yeah, and that's why I dated her.
That's why you dated her.
That was mine.
Therein why we struck up a relationship.
But Malwarebytes, and that's malware, B-Y-T-E-S.
Oh, okay.
And
Fancy spelling.
Yeah, you can go to .org, malwarebytes.org. Anyway, what it does is it actually helps your computer, kind of ferret out or
Run
keep
smoother.
it from getting caught in all this malware junk that comes.
The viruses and the worms and the.
Oh, yeah.
It's downloaded into
Trojan
the
horses.
system.
Yeah.
And they have a paid version and a free version. I've never used the paid version.
Yeah, I haven't
I've
either.
always used the free version. So
Is it Mac compatible or just PC?
that's a good question.
It is a good question.
It says PC. Man, you could,
Yeah, you need to get back.
But
to
the thing.
program it.
Yeah.
PC stands for piece of crap.
But but anyway, so the program, basically you download it, install it, and you run a scan. Now the pro version kind of stays running all the time, so that's probably why you would pay for it. But you download it, you manually click a scan, update it, click a scan, and it'll go in and it'll tell you, you've got 175 malicious or malware things on your computer. These are things that every time you go to a website, they're sending a signal back to some marketer somewhere in the world that wants to know where you are, what you're doing, what times of the day you're visiting what website.
That's why all these ads are hitting you at
that's
certain
why
times,
if you've ever gone to like Amazon, like say you go to Amazon, look at a product, and then later on you're on some other website somewhere, and that little product pops up.
Had it happen.
That's scary.
Yeah, that's what that is. You've got malware on your computer that's kind of figuring out where you're going at what time. And in theory, that's not a bad thing, but
potentially it could be.
But
right?
yeah, you don't want it to happen. I mean, you just don't want that. That's number one. But there are some bad malware products that'll go in there and ferret out. You just get good information that you don't want people to have. So
they're casing you online to find out what your habits are, how do you spend your money, what you're interested in. They're profiling you legally.
Exactly.
So that they can advertise to you for the most part.
Yeah, they want to be able to sell you something. So
the blend doesn't send out malware, just so you guys will know. We don't do any of that. So if you give us your email address, it will be safe with us.
We don't spam you, clam you,
clam you, or
anything.
Not too much.
Spray Pam on you. No.
Not too much anyway.
Yeah.
But that site, that will clean up if you have a virus on your PC, then it has the ability, if it's the latest, greatest, to actually clean up some of that stuff, right?
Yeah, well, now they'll distinguish between malware and viruses.
Okay.
And so these kind of hit the malware side. Almost all of us have like an antivirus on our computer somehow. I think Windows has some integrated stuff, so most of us have that.
Unless you're a Mac user, we don't get viruses.
Yeah. Except on the malware side, we're not really protected that much.
Okay.
So Malwarebyte is a good program to have at that point. But anyway, so that's the boring techie stuff. But yeah, use it. I use it all the time. It's like gold for me. Keeps me clean. But on the heavier, stronger, serious
spiritual side
of the world,
we got to be balanced.
Yeah. We got to keep things
pride
straight.
ourselves at the blend on being balanced.
And so we have the news. The crazy news.
This is more Walter Cronkite-ish. It's it's investigative, substantive journalism. Yeah, and Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters.
Baba Wawa.
Baba Wawa. The house we've called is very glorious.
It's very glorious.
I remember that. But so here's some of the funny news stories that are out there today. So talking about selfies, remember you were talking about selfies?
Yes.
So here's the headline: Butt Crack Avenger goes on selfie spree.
No way!
Yes.
Dude, I was Butt Crack Avenger at Halloween last year. I was!
The guy does is he finds a butt crack,
Yeah.
and then he takes a selfie with him and the butt
And
crack
the
in
butt
the
crack.
background.
That's going to get him a beating eventually. I hope that guy's tough.
Hey, and then there's another one here. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
You had a couple last week that were just off the charts.
Yeah,
man.
they were.
Good
Hey,
grief.
this one is kind of funny. Not so much funny, but so like the lady is in the airplane. The airplane aborts a takeoff.
Yeah.
And the nose kind of dives on the airplane. Some crazy something happened to it, and they get off the plane. And as she gets off the plane, she turns around and does a selfie with the plane, So like, the world, every world's falling apart. People are, people that didn't think it was like in good taste.
Right.
But she did a selfie with her and the
So was anybody injured on that actual plane when they boarded the takeoff?
I didn't read the story.
I see people like walking off the plane and stuff.
Yeah, but they are still walking off. I'll try to put up a graphic.
And she didn't even get a good selfie. She cut off her nose and face.
Yeah.
She got her eyes and eyebrows.
Yeah.
And she needs to tweeze those eyebrows evidently too.
But hey,
I
and
digress.
then the last one is I guess this one's not so funny. It's just kind of strange, one of those strange things. But a python ate a whole pet chihuahua that was tied up in the backyard. Poor Chihuahua gets nailed.
Tied up? Why would you tie up a chihuahua in the first place? Have you seen those things?
Yeah.
Are they that big?
Yeah, I know. Hey, let me tell you a quick story, and we'll wrap this up. But quick story. had a rooster down in Mexico when I lived in Mexico.
You had a rooster.
Yeah, we had a rooster. Somebody gave my
What's his name,
parents-
Rhubarb?
Was his name Rhubarb? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was
Hey.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn. Hey, it was that kind. It was a white rooster.
A Rhode Island Red?
A white rooster
A
with
white
red.
one.
And
Wow.
Someone gave it to my dad at the church, down in Mexico. So
Yeah.
they gave their tithe or something like that.
You give a rooster, man, he can't lay eggs. Give him something he can benefit from, man.
Hey, so and for some crazy reason, my grandma or my grandmother on my dad's side lived with us, and she took him outside and tied him to a stake with a piece of rope, a little string of rope.
You're not talking about like a steak from Longhorn.
No, not a longhorn steak. A stake in the ground, like a vampire steak. And
Stick.
yeah, and so I would come home from school every day, and just mess with it, make it mad.
Mess with the rooster.
Yeah, and it would come attack me, and then wow.
Would it spur you and stuff
It
like
try
that?
its best, and then of course I was like 5 inches away from the
Oh,
length
yeah,
of the
yeah.
rope.
Just out of
So,
reach.
Yeah, and so I just really
Terrorizing
really-
that. Now,
so-
animal rights activists are going to blow this
Yeah,
thing up if they
I
see
know,
this.
I
PETA!
know. Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. We've reformed.
But hey, here's the funny part. So one day we cut it loose. The thing never left the house, obviously, because
Yeah.
it was an open yard.
Yeah.
But like the delimited, like the fence around the house,
Uh-huh.
if anybody other than me, my dad, my mom, and my grandma, anybody other than us walked inside the fence,
Yeah.
the thing would attack them. Like it'd go after 'em.
Wow.
It was so funny. It was like a guard dog. It was like a dog.
A guard rooster.
Yeah, a guard rooster. Anyway, so one day, the thing attacks my grandma, right?
Oh, Granny got ruffled.
Oh man, we had rooster for dinner.
Really?
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
When Rooster messes with Granny, that's when
That's the end of the road.
it's out. The lights are out.
Anyway, so that's
That's
the
pretty
story.
funny. So he would have been a good cockfighter, man.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
he-
put him in a rooster ring.
Hey, he was pretty tough. I got to tell you, I got nailed a couple times.
Really had a little tattoo.
Yeah, I had a tattoo.
on his foot. That's awesome, man. Look, don't ever stop getting those interesting stories like that. We get enough bad news as it is with a lot of the news today. Funny stuff, interesting stuff. That's it's cool.
is-
I was going to talk
And
about that
these
one,
are
but
these
I
are
think
credible
it'd be good.
stories,
That'd be
you know.
good. Oh yeah, if they're on the internet, they're true.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
it's gotta be.
absolutely.
Snopes said it was true, so yeah, it's got to be true, right? All right, guys.
Another segment.
There's one guy right there. It's a bodybuilder guy. Got admit his 29-inch biceps are fake.
How the heck?
Really, you think so? If you saw this picture, yeah, that's not really a stretch. But we got some great shows coming up. I want you to stay tuned. I want you to invite your friends. Make this a family tradition. Getting your family together, gather them around the computer, and watch the blend, because we're here to enrich your lives. Right?
That's right.
Is that what
That's
we're doing?
right. We're doing it.
Yeah.
In one way
Stories
or
like
another.
that, how can you not be enriched?
Yeah, and
Stay in
make sure you share, you talk throughout the week. Stay tuned to the Facebook page, our
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make some comments on our Facebook page. What you'd like to see.
On the YouTube page, which we will post
Yeah,
these
yeah,
episodes.
yeah.
What's our YouTube URL?
I think it's the
URL.
blend online.
The Blend Online?
Yeah.
So the Blend Online or Blend Online. I think I typed it in wrong one time on YouTube, and it took me to a Blender infomercial.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Probably
nice
did.
blender, but I wasn't going to pay that much for that. So anyway, that's it. But hey, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you probably the next time we see you. It may be closer to spring than it is now,
That's
obviously.
right.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe we'll talk about some more spring training next
Spring
time.
training stuff, yeah. That one viewer that didn't like the sports thing,
They'll get over it.
you get over it. Just mute us.
Yeah,
All
mute
right.
us. The other one, stay tuned.
We'll also have dating. We're going to have dating tips from Keith coming up
Yeah.
in the future.
I'll-
Once he starts dating, maybe a little more meaningful then. And Wayne's got some more financial tips.
Yeah.
Stock of the week. You going to do a stock of the week?
Sure,
maybe?
we could do that.
Yeah.
We could do that.
He won't be endorsing it, but he'll just mention it to you. So stay tuned. Tell your friends about us, and enjoy life, because it's one big blender. See you later. We're out.